We want to make sure that our teachers and our staff, everybody, knows that we care.
Our motto is greatness, growth, discipline, and love.
We're building new high school, new sports facilities. To be able to stay competitive, you have to be able to have the facilities to do so.
Produced by Podcast Architects.
Welcome back to another episode of The Path Forward here at TASB 23 in Dallas. I'm your host, Dr. Rick Fernandez, and I'm here with Granger Superintendent Jeni Neatherlin and Board President Daryl Stefek. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning.
Are y'all having a good conference so far?
We are having a wonderful conference. We've been able to get together as our board, and we've been able to attend the sessions, and my dear friend Martha won Superintendent of the Year, so I'm woohoo.
I saw that last night, sent her a text message, and she's one of the best in the business, so not unexpected, I'd say that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Daryl, for a board member, obviously you're going to sessions, but what do you enjoy outside of the hubbub of a conference with the team?
With this team, I'm just super excited that we are a very cohesive group, and we're able to go out and network, meet other boards, gather information. We have a couple of new board members on, so they're learning, and I think it's just great that we're able to work together and move the district forward.
The educators are dealing with so much. There's change coming from either the legislature or new rules through A through F, funding, you name it. As a board, how do you navigate it seems like the acceleration of change is exponentially increasing every year. So how do you navigate that?
It's getting more difficult. It's hard to know what to do when they keep moving the goalpost back. It's hard to plan for that. So it's when you can get together and just try and do the best that we can to make sure that we're moving forward for our students. The main thing is making sure the students are getting taken care of, and try and do the best that we can, and the rating will shake out in the end.
Absolutely.
But as long as we know that our students are getting taken care of and they're learning what they need to learn, the rating is kind of secondary in my opinion.
I think most boards and districts would have the same opinion. I mean, y'all have had great success, Jeni. I saw some of your growth that you tweeted out.
Yeah.
How do you keep, whatever the ratings come out, how do you keep the staff focused on, hey, don't worry about that. We're doing great things for kids.
Yeah, so, I'll go back to what Daryl was talking about. We have a great board, and we are so blessed because we enjoy each other's company and being around each other, and so that we can connect and really dive into what the needs are. And one of the sessions yesterday, Mr. Williams was talking about, we just don't make excuses for anything about where our kids can go. And so for me, I just work on our staff and staying focused, keep the main thing.
Right.
And so those are, and the main thing is our motto is greatness, growth, discipline, and love. And when we focus on those four things, the outcomes come, and accountability is just one of the tools that demonstrates the growth that we've had. And that's just my practice. I've been at a PEG school and been a principal, and we got out of being a PEG school, but we didn't talk about being a PEG school.
Right.
We talked about making moves to improve student outcomes and taking care of people.
That name didn't define what you need
Absolutely
to do
not.
for schools. Daryl, let me ask you this. So when you're with your board and you've had great growth, teachers, your district is famous for great retention of teachers. What do you think it is about Granger ISD that's able to not only attract great teachers, but keep great educators, teachers, administrators?
I believe it's our culture. We want to make sure that our teachers and our staff, everybody, knows that we care. We care as a board, we care as a community, make them aware that we care, make sure that they're rewarded for when they do a good job. I think that's the main thing, is just making sure that they know that we care.
Right.
And I've had several employees come up and just say, thank you for this or thank you for that. And it's not, I want to say thank you to you.
Right.
This is us returning, your hard work. So just make sure that they know that you care and that they're the reason that our district is growing. And, we don't have very many open spots on our staff because it's a culture of bringing them in, getting the new people to come in and know that there's somebody that will help them right next door.
They're not alone. You've got good support, you've got great leadership, and they don't have to go it alone. Because there are some districts, and for whatever reason, right, it's difficult to find great leadership when you're a rookie teacher, or you're even new to a district, maybe a veteran, and you change a district, and it's not always a seamless fit. Different policy, different procedures, different variables that you have to deal with. So, I mean, y'all are very good at what you do. Now, I'm gonna embarrass Jeni for a quick second. I'm fortunate with what I get to do. I get to see schools all around the country, and I would say that rockstar superintendents are not. It's not a common thing. Rockstar leadership, regardless of sector, is not normal. What would you advise maybe other boards that are looking for their next Jeni Neatherlin to come? How do you? And I'm being honest. I'm sorry. I know. But it's important that you when you have great leadership, you got to figure out a way to keep them. How do you keep them? How do you keep them there? How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them motivated to be a part of Granger ISD?
That's a good one. I mean, it's hard to, I mean, Jeni was brand new to us. It was her first, so there's not a lot of data to go off of when it's your first superintendent's role. So I think we're very fortunate. We're very lucky. Turned out, what our feelings turned out that they were right.
You had skills, yeah.
Yes. So I think that was just a big plus for us that it worked out. And super hard worker, great at what she does, great at networking, and if she doesn't know the answer, she'll get the answer. So, but how to keep
a great leader.
Again, I mean, she's on our staff. She's the top of the staff pyramid. So it's not really rewards based, but showing that we care and making sure we reward her appropriately for the work that she's done and moving our district forward. The decisions that she makes affects our district. So, those are reasons you can justify, when we have to do compensation packages, you can justify that.
Sure.
So, but as far as and also just making sure that we as a board give her the tools that she needs to run our district.
Sure.
I think not trying to be too micromanagement, but also make sure you're there enough if she needs support that we're there for her.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll just add, just in general with keeping our staff, we were able to get a nearby district's teacher of the year, and they make the same amount, if not less, for us, and they are doing the same job. And so for us, that just speaks to the culture that we have going. And I'm so grateful for the leadership on our campuses and that they are creating that as well. And so, and that couldn't happen without, from the top down, the board all the way to our teachers that are doing the work. And even in our cafeteria and our maintenance crew and just all of those things, they are all part of the cohesiveness. For me, I heard a superintendent the other day, and they talked about, the currency for superintendents right now is almost as much how good your board is to you and how well y'all work together. And so for me, I'll just say, I will pass by lunch detention or ISS, and if there's a board member that has a kid in there, I haven't even heard about it. They haven't called me to talk to me about things and so for me, that's a huge thing because they're working with the principal and they're just going, okay, they have the chain and they're being parents in the appropriate way. And then they know their role as a board, and it's just amazing. And we are just so blessed. And we talked about that on the way over here about we're just blessed with a great team.
You know, that's and I've had to live some of that firsthand, how important just the support is. I mean, that is huge. And you're right. I've heard several administrators in new roles, our friends and colleagues, talking about, you know, hey, it wasn't a big, huge chunk of money. I knew I was going to have support day in and day out, especially now. Of all times where everything is crazy and stuff is divisive like that. I mean, so congratulations to you guys for being able to support her and keeping her leading the district, because that's not the norm, as you guys well know, right? Okay, I got to ask a couple of questions. What do y'all tease her about?
Oh God, this is about me. So
You know, I can't really think of
Oh,
something.
come on. You're in closed session. She's not there. Somebody's, you got to tease her about something.
I don't know. Like,
Oh,
No,
I mean-
one of the board members is with us, used to play softball with her. I know that we tease.
okay.
You know, that's been some that, you know, just her go-getter attitude. You know, it's something, you know, that's something. and that's
Competitive.
the
Yeah.
competitiveness
Yeah.
in her. I mean, maybe that's why she is so good at her job, because she's not going to take no for an answer. She's going to go out and get it. But
Yeah.
as far as, like, I'm not a big teaser, so I'm not sure what
Okay.
the guys,
Yeah.
if anybody on the board.
No, we tease other board members
Yeah.
like Hallmark Carwell and like
So
that type of stuff.
are you competitive? So I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. So, you know, scores come out, or there's different metrics. Are you looking at see that you beat your neighbors? You beat your...
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like that's just the nature of it. I mean, but our board, they're very competitive too. I mean, like they like to win, and I love
it.
that.
You,
Like
you have to have that attitude.
Yeah.
You have
I
to
mean,
have it.
Yeah, Daryl, we're the same age, and he was on the state championship team, like there, and we have a couple of board members that were, and that they have that championship mentality about all the things that they do, and I think that that's a big piece of it, and where we want to win, like we care about Granger, and we want to be successful, and we don't want, I mean, and just in all aspects. So yes, I like to look and see, but there's a lot of metrics, right? Like
Absolutely.
when you're trying to gauge, like, okay, our teacher retention, like, I mean, we don't have any openings.
No,
right?
I saw that. I was like, holy moly.
Yeah,
that's
like that's and that's the great part of that. But you know, we don't have openings. We don't have a lot of the things that are going on and around. But
Right.
yeah, like if there's a metric and I can gauge it and there's data to, I'm like, okay, we're winning at that.
So let's vision cast 2 years from now, 5 years from now. What's next for Granger and the students of Granger?
New facilities for one.
Nice.
So those are we broke ground on our next high school, which when it's if it's completed in 25, that's going to be 100 years since we built our last high school.
Oh my gosh.
So
Are y'all planning, like, you got to have a big event around that,
yes,
right?
yes, we'll have a big opening.
That's
but
huge.
we're building new high school, new sports facilities.
That's awesome.
So you know, that's something that's been the town has been talking about for a long time. To be able to stay competitive, you have to be able to have the facilities to do so.
You do.
So we're doing that, and finally we've got a bond passed. We've broken ground. We're getting started on that. So that's something that's going to be new coming up. Other thing that's new is the growth. I think the amount of growth that's going to be coming in. I'm hoping that our small school stays small school mentality.
Right. The feel. Yes.
So, you know, there could be some growing pains coming with that, with the more kids that come in, the, you know, more transfers in, the more
Sure.
move-ins. They're not, you know, from Granger type,
Right.
you know, but it's, you know, they're going to become part of Granger. So,
And you have a strong culture, and it's been my experience. If your culture is strong, when people come in, new job, new whatever, they get that, they understand that, they feel it, and they have role models to model it as they're coming in. And most assimilate and understand, okay, this is just how we do things here.
Yeah.
So, and obviously y'all have that. So I know growing pains. We've been in several districts where it's just ridiculous, but your culture is going to sustain you. I very much believe that, especially you guys. I mean, you guys got it going on, so not worried about that at all.
thank you.
Leadership. You got principals, teachers. your role has changed. Their roles are changing just because of all the dynamics. If you were giving some advice to aspiring administrators out there, coming ranks and like, oh, I don't know if do I want to get into this? What are some of the things that you would tell them to focus on, concentrate on, or look at?
I would definitely say that they need to shadow. I mean, that's a big piece of success to me, because you really, like, I mean, just even like that's the law that I had for kids to come and do that, right, to get passed. But I really want adults to do that and say, okay, do I really want to do this job, right? Knowing, like, seeing what it entails, like from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and knowing kind of like what skill set is required to do that job. And because really that's where, the tasks change, but the skills are pretty similar. And so you need a certain skill set to be successful. And sometimes people have that and sometimes people just don't. And they need to either grow that and go back and be like, go to the drawing board and do those things. And so I would just say, if you're in a position to, you know, learn more. I mean, seek it out, go talk to mentors and just say, can I shadow you? Can I come hang out? Can I do this? Can I explore? Can I sit in on an admin meeting? Can I go to a cabinet meeting?
Right.
Can I, whatever the next layer is, that I'm really encouraging everybody to go explore what that looks like from the ground up.
And would you agree that don't be shy to ask, right? Even if we're busy, things are going on, like, ask, because we want people that are motivated, that want to seek learning and understanding. So no one's going to be offended, or no one's going to, you might have to say, hey, maybe this time or that time because other things are going on, but you would say, like, hey, come ask me.
Yeah. And so, like, when I get asked, they'll say, hey, can you coach me? And I said, okay, well, will you come with me to have some specific questions?
Sure.
Right. And so when you have some specific questions, I can guide you a little bit better and have a little bit more focus, but that's definitely, come prepared.
So, I mean, thinking in the same terms, Daryl, for new board members, you got a couple of new board members. How do you coach them, or how do you get them, like, up to speed as quick as you possibly can?
Well, we bring them in. Jeni sits down with them, goes over the new things for the district.
Sure.
And then it's just, so one thing that I've tried to get our board to understand, which in the past we've had an issue with it, where everybody come in, the people that were here, I don't know if it was they just didn't want to spend money, but the amount of training that we try and do.
Yeah.
Coming to these conferences, going and networking, going to classes, learning new things. You don't know what you don't know.
Sure.
So, last year I think we had 197 hours of training as a board. This year I think we're going to surpass that. So it's the more training that you can get, going to these events, these conferences, and learning, that just makes you a better board member. And I like to cut in one thing on the previous one that Jeni was talking about. I'd like to compliment Jeni that, one of the things that she brought in was, we've had several, 30 plus year teachers that have retired from Granger. Last year, she brought them back to mentor our new teachers. So bringing that in, starting that, I think that has helped to have, that shadowing effect, but having, experienced teachers training the new ones.
It's critical, and I'm partial to former coaches, former athletes, but we learn. Yeah. You don't make it on your own, and coaching doesn't, like, all day every day in all aspects, right? You wouldn't expect a student athlete to go out there and only be coached in football practice once a week, or they coach and nobody says anything and there's no feedback until Friday right before the game. And sometimes I think because we get busy, that's how we treat our teachers, our administrators. We just forget that, like, hey, it's got to be frequent enough where they can act on it, where they can reflect on it, and they can, provide some of their own feedback of, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. So, I mean, again, y'all are doing great things. This is I'm been told that next year you may be on that podium.
Oh gosh.
What? I'm not. She's like, she's not gonna take a compliment. So, I think absolutely. You don't have to say anything. I think
you're so sweet.
No,
you're so sweet.
And I'll just say this. I don't just say that and just to blow smoke. We know a lot of the same people, but I have, since I met you and you were on the show, I've been following because I'm interested of how our district's being successful, right? Not mediocre, not okay, not like this, but if you maintain it, there's something there. They've got something. They've got leadership. They're doing something different. And that's what I'm just fascinated by. Everybody's doing something different. How are they maintaining it? There shouldn't be, everybody has openings. You know, I've never seen, you see Twitter, everybody's having job fairs. Used to, you'd have one in the summer, one in the spring, one in the fall, and call it good. Right?
Yeah.
And now it's nonstop. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's, I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. So when you're doing great things, I'm curious as to what is happening there that is different. So congratulations to you.
Yeah, thanks. Just in general, everywhere I've been able to be, we've been able to hire good quality people.
Yes.
And so I do think that and it's an expectation. And we've had some turnover because we're moving forward and making changes and doing those things that are necessary to stay on top of the game.
Sure.
And so, but the thing about, employment is that how you treat people, do you pay them well? And do you give them the support that they need to be successful? And I think that those are the things that Granger does really well and makes them feel like a sense of belonging, and where that is missing in a lot of places, I think. We do that well. And so our people, that's what, like my board, I came because we were talking about parking and we're talking about budget and all of these things. And, I was like, well, I don't even have a parking spot because we have so much craziness and with our spaces. And the next board meeting, they made me a sign for a parking spot, for Superintendent Neatherlin. So it was really just so thankful. Because we're definitely not without our challenges.
Sure.
We are constantly like, okay, oh my gosh, we got to fix this. We got to do this. And those are things but the competitive parts of us that, have the best interest for kids and people, that's what drives us to do this work, and we want to make it better. And so that's a challenge and a blessing.
Well, thank you guys for being here and spending some time. Daryl, thank you for jumping on and being willing to come on and share your insight as a board member. And you got a rock star here, so I look forward to continuing to follow you.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, as we wrap up, any shout outs, anything you want to plug for Granger ISD?
Well, I definitely want to shout out to our staff and the amazing work that they're doing. But I also want to applaud our community at our city for helping us get some things accomplished. But I also want to shout out our county commissioner, Russ Bowles, and helping us in getting things done and just being a phone call away as we're building and we're growing. And Williamson County is one of the fastest growing in the Texas for sure because of Samsung. Yeah. And so we are so blessed and thankful that we have some county leadership that is really just there for us and helping us. So I'd shout out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Responsive, awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So kudos to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Produced by Podcast Architects.